Chapter 26. Moreover, ye shall make the tabernacle with 10 curtains, of fine twined linen, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, with cherubim, the work of skillful workmen, shall ye make them. The length of each curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains shall have one measure. 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. And you shall make loops of blue upon the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the first set, and likewise you shall make in the edge of the curtain that is outmost in the second set. 50 loops shall you make in the one curtain, and 50 loops shall you make in the edge of the curtain that is in the second set. The loops shall be opposite one to another. And you shall make 50 clasps of gold, and couple the curtains one to another with the clasps, that the tabernacle may be one whole. And you shall make curtains of goat's hair for a tent over the tabernacle. 11 curtains shall you make them. The length of each curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits. The 11 curtains shall have one measure. And you shall couple 5 curtains by themselves, and 6 curtains by themselves, and you shall double over the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tent. And you shall make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the first set, 50 loops upon the edge of the curtain which is outmost in the second set. And you shall make 50 clasps of brass, and put the clasps into the loops, and couple the tent together, that it may be one. And as for the overhanging part that remains of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remains over shall hang over the back of the tabernacle, and the cubit on the one side, and the cubit on the other side of that which remains over in the length of the curtains of the tent shall hang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it. And you shall make a covering for the tent of ram skins, dyed red, and a covering of sealskins above. And you shall make the boards for the tabernacle of acacia wood, standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board, and a cubit and a half the breadth of each board. 2 tenons shall there be in each board, joined one to another. Thus shalt you make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And you shall make the boards for the tabernacle, 20 boards for the south side, southward. And you shall make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under the one board for its 2 tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for its 2 tenons. And for the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side, 20 boards, and there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And for the hinder part of the tabernacle westward, you shall make 6 boards. And 2 boards shall you make for the corners of the tabernacle in the hinder part. And they shall be double beneath, and in like manner they shall be complete unto the top thereof, unto the first ring. Thus shalt you make it. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for the 2 corners. Thus there shall be 8 sockets, and their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, and 2 sockets under another board. And you shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle for the hinder part westward. And the middle bar in the midst of the boards, which shall pass through from end to end. And you shall overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for holders for the bars, and you shall overlay the bars with gold. And you shall rear up the tabernacle according to the fashion thereof, which hath been shown you in the mount. And you shall make a veil of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. With cherubim, the work of the skillful workman, shall it be made. And you shall hang it upon the pillars of acacia overlaid with gold, their hooks being of gold, upon 4 sockets of silver. And you shall hang up the veil under the clasps, and shalt bring in there within the veil the ark of the testimony, and the veil shalt divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. And you shall put the ark cover upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And you shall set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the side of the tabernacle toward the south. And you shall put the table on the north side. And you shall make a screen for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, the work, the weaver in colors. And you shall make for the screen 5 pillars of acacia, overlay them with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, and you shall cast 5 sockets of brass for them. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. We are continuing in the Moses is currently on the mountain with the Lord. The Lord is speaking to Moses, telling him what the people can bring as an offering or a gift to the Lord. And there was several things. We will get more into these things as we go. We'll find out there was colors, and precious stones, and goat skins, and seal skins, and such manners as we're going to find out in this chapter as we are building a tabernacle, a place for the Lord to dwell, and as it says, a place for the Lord to be among his people. So today we are going to pick up in with the building, or the explanation, you might say, the verbal blueprint of the tabernacle. As we'll see, Moses was shown what it looked like in the mount, as well as the explanation. We're going to pick it up here in verse 1. Moreover, you shall make the tabernacle with 10 curtains, of fine twined linen, and blue, and purple, and scarlet, with cherubim. The work of skillful workmen shall you make them. So, in addition, with all these things, the people are going to bring and we'll see the people do, they bring gifts to the Lord, and this is what they do. They build this tabernacle. It's a place for the Lord to be, you might say. It represents the place, even in some sense, where the Lord is. It's going to have a meaning. All things have a purpose. They have a meaning, or they just wouldn't be here. And it's really just that simple, just to think this is a bunch of stuff gathered together to make a square, or to make some kind of a simple tent to stay out of the rain could be badly mistaken, because the tabernacle's got 10 curtains. A curtain, the word is yiriyah, and it's a hanging that waves in the wind, you might say. In that sense, it just hangs there. This here is going to be of a fine twined linen. 10, we'll find out. A curtain has a way of separating. That's how many laws there was the Lord gave in the beginning. It's made of fine twined linen. The threads are really close together. It's and blue, purple, and scarlet. These colors here, we'll find blue represents the light, a good understanding. Purple, of course, stands for that which is mixed. It's dyed, it's colored, and scarlet being that which was mingled with it to give it that purple. And some people believe that's a royal color. Scarlet's going to be the color of red, or blood itself. It's going to have cherubim. The cherubim are angels, in a sense. What our mind would view an angel as, most likely is similitude to men, in some holy form. But angel is a dispatched deputy of the Lord. It's not the Lord himself. But these are going to be the work of skillful workmen. It's very simple. These people who have the skill will see that the Lord gives these skills, gives these abilities to people so that they can do this work too. The length of each curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains shall have one measure. The length it determines nations, and we can look at that. It's determined to do something. It's going to be 8 and 20 cubits. Cubits a measure. There's arguments over what a cubit is. We're not going to argue about what a cubit is. We're just going to use it as a measure. It's a measure. It's determined, and that's what it was determined for. 8 and 20. 20 is 2 tenths. It's to witness the law. That gives you redemption. 8 is beginning, because it was the beginning of redemption was being measured out. The breadth is what it's going to be used for. It depends on how wide it is, what you can do with it. So the breadth of each curtain, a curtain being that which is waving or hanging, it's used to separate, is 4 cubits. Cubits, as we're going to find out, that's going to be the work of Hashem, the work of the Lord there in its measure. We kind of get that understanding of, and the Lord standing there waving. We'll find out. We've got this, the prophets picked up on this when he was trying to wake you up. All the curtains shall have one measure. In the beginning, they had a quality, you might say, and that's what it is. They have one measure. They're equal. 5 curtains shall be coupled together, one to another, and the other 5 curtains shall be coupled one to another. So we're going to create 2 sets, and we get to 5 curtains, because grace in these curtains and grace in these things, and the other 5 curtains that are joined one to another, as we'll see how they are coupled, joined together, these 5 curtains, making 2 sets each. We get to witness the Lord's grace. We'll find out in these 2 sets of 5. It's the law. For you shall make loops of blue upon the edge of one curtain that is outmost in the first set. Likewise shalt you make in the edge of the curtain that is outmost in the second set. These loops, a loop is lula, and it goes around, you might say. It comes back, goes back upon itself, and it's basically what it's going to be. These little loops of blue is a sewn-in hole. It's a buttonhole. It's on the edge, and it's going to be used to link or join these things together. It's on the edge of one curtain that is outmost in the first set. We'll find out in both sets of the curtains, because the tent has 2 curtains: an inner curtain made of fine twined linen, and an outer curtain made of dyed skins. And 50 loops should you make in the one curtain, and 50 loops should you make in the edge of the curtain that is in the second set. The loops shall be opposite one to another, and these loops are opposite one to another. These things that go around on one end of the curtain, basically, is what it's saying. Both sets of the 5 curtains joined together. The 50 loops, 50 we find grace in the law, and it's the 50's not only the grace from the law, but 50 is also that which is dedicated for the redemption. It's also that which was given from the Lord. Of course, it's grace in the law. That's what you're going to make these clasps out of. These clasps are tacks. I think the King James Version says the word is keres. It's a knob. It can be defined as a pin, but it sticks out. So we get the impression that it could be a button. But it's made of gold. and it's what's going to be used to couple the curtains one to another. So we have these 50 clasps, or these 50 buttons, this grace in the law that joins together these things that go around the tabernacle. 7, and you shall make curtains of goat's hair for a tent over the tabernacle. 11 curtains shall you make them. Now we're going to make a covering of goat skins. It's going to be a fine linen. It's for a tent over the tent of the tabernacle as a covering over the top. We'll find out we have the curtain that goes all the way around. Now we're going to have the curtain, the inner skin that goes over on the inside over the top. 8, the length of each curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of each curtain 4 cubits. The 11 curtains shall have one measure. So the length of each curtain shall be 30 cubits. It's a little longer than the other curtains. We'll find it's going to hang over a little bit on the back. These 30, it's dedicated. And 30 means to be dedicated. We get the witness of the law. That's what it was for. So we could see it ourselves in the earth even. And that's its determinations is to be used for that. It's what it was determined for. The breadth, that's what it's going to be used for. Each curtain was 4 cubits. We'll find out. It's that work that was measured out by the Lord in the beginning. These 11 curtains shall have one measure. So now the 11 is 10 and 1, and that's the law. Begins, we can say, or the law had a beginning. In the beginning was the law. They had one measure. Once again, they were equal. 9, you shall couple 5 curtains by themselves, 6 curtains by themselves shall you double over the 6th curtain in the forefront of the tent. And you shall couple these 5 curtains by themselves, these 6 curtains by themselves. The 5 curtains, because there's grace in these curtains. Once again, that which is waving through time. We get these 6 curtains. That's grace, and the other 6 by themselves is going to be the work of man. 6 is always that when man was created, or either that what man creates. By themselves, you shall double over the 6th curtain. So now we can double even that portion of the work of men as it's waving through time. Across history, we could say we get to witness these things in the forefront of the tent. The most, even in the beginning, 10, you shall make 50 loops on the edge of the one curtain that is outmost in the first set, and 50 loops on the edge of the curtain which is outmost in the second set. And you shall make 50 loops, once again, 50. We get this grace in the law that was dedicated for redemption from the beginning even. These loops, lulala, is that which is folded over. It comes back on itself. It's kind of going around. We'll see in the one, the outmost in the first set, and 50 loops on the edge of the, just like we did on the other one. We're going to make these loops to receive a button, that which can join them together. In the first set, and 50 loops in the edge of the curtain on the second set. And this is, we're going to get the second because there's always that second set. That's why there's 2 curtains going around it. 11. You shall make 50 clasps of brass and put the clasps into the loops and couple the tent together that it may be one. You shall make 50 clasps. Once again, these tacks, these caress, these knobs that stick out, these buttons. That's used to join it together. That's grace in the law. They shall be made of copper, and put the clasps into the loops, couple the tent together, and it may be one. So they join them together. We use these the copper stands for that which wasn't desired as much. I've used it as this cold judgment, or that which wasn't as well desired as the other things we might get from the law. We get a little judgment as well. There's a portion in it that's still worth saving, 12. And as for the overhanging part remains of the curtains of the tent, the half curtain that remains over shall hang over the back of the tabernacle. And as for the overhanging portion, that little bit that's left of the curtain of the tent, the half curtain that remains over shall hang over the back of the tabernacle. That's on the back. So, and we'll find out as to, and that half curtain is that it's a portion of that which remains, and you might say, to cover or to overlap in the back of the tabernacle, to keep. We'll find out it. To seal it off, 13, and the cubit on the one side, and the cubit on the other side of that which remains over in the length of the curtains of the tent shall overhang over the sides of the tabernacle on this side and on that side to cover it. So the back portion of it is covered. In other words, these two curtains here that was made went only across the rear portion of the tabernacle, where the holy place is within the tent. 14. And you shall make a covering for the tent of ram skins dyed red, and a covering of seal skins above. And you shall make a covering for the tent of ram skins dyed red, and a covering of seal skins above. So this is going to be what goes around the tent, and over top of the tent are these steel skins dyed red, and that gives it its color. These skins of the ram, of course, a ram is one that is the male of the flocks. These ones that exalt themselves, that have strength. Of course, we can't have the many, so this is in that aspect of those that have other purposes, you might say. 15. You shall make the boards for the tabernacle of acacia wood standing up, and you shall make these boards for the tabernacle. That's the place for the Lord to dwell. These boards are that which is split out, made of acacia wood. They come from that tree, a tree that most likely had some thorns on it. These boards, something that's split out of that tree, made of and standing up, and that's going to be to made erect, to stand this tent up. 16. 10 cubits shall be the length of the board, and a cubit and a half the breadth of each board. And these 10 cubits, once again, that's the law being measured out. That's what we're using it for. It's the length that's determined for that of the board, that which is split out, you might say, of the tree. A cubit is the measure, and a half the breadth of each board. Cubit and a half, because that was that measurement to divide in the first place. It was what it was used for on each board, to split it out. 17. 2 tenons shall be 2 tenons shall there be in each board, joined one to another. Thus shalt you make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And 2 tenons. 2 is always means to witness to me. 2 tenons. These tenons are yud. A yud as to, and it gives some power in a way to keep it straight, to help direct it. And you will put these in each board, that which is split out, and they shall join one to another. And it was to join them one to another. Thus shalt you make for all the boards of the tabernacle. And that's thus shalt you make. This is the way they would be made. That to these two tenons. That's going to be that which gives it some strength, so they can be joined together. And we get to witness these things both times. 18, you shall make the boards of the tabernacle, 20 boards for the south side, southward, and you shall make it. That's what you shall make for the boards, that things that are split out of the tabernacle. These 20, we get to witness the law twice, split out. That's redemption. Twice the Lord is redeemed. For the south side, south, that place it's dry, arid, parched from before, maybe. When we get a witness on that side, southward. 19, you shall make 40 sockets of silver under the 20 boards, 2 sockets under one board for its tenons, and 2 sockets under another board for its 2 tenons. And you shall make 40 sockets. That's total in all the boards, 2 for each board, 20 boards total, 40 sockets in all. 40, that's probation. 40 is a period of learning, we might say. Probation is kind of a word that's maybe give the wrong meaning. 40 is a period, there's a time to learn. It's the work of the Lord in the law. And these sockets, is it's a base for strength. We might say column to hold it up. We get that. It's of silver under the 20 boards, and the silver has value. It's of a lesser value, but has value nonetheless. It's been purified. It's been run through the fire. Under the 20 boards, 20 because it's for redemption, to witness the law that's been split out. These 2 sockets under one board, and these 2 sockets, we witnessed these sockets that was Eden, that's used for strength under another board. For its 2 tenons, and that's to join them together. That's what the purpose was. To give the power, and these tenons give power, and as to direct for strength. Now, it's all about the law, and that's what it was for in the first place, just to help you out. 20. For the second side of the tabernacle, on the north side, 20 boards. And the second side, we get to witness those things made plain as well. It's twice, we'll see, twice, side of the tabernacle. That's which made plain. And the north side, 20 boards. North side is a little cold. It's judgment on the north side. We get to see the judgment. It's the other side of the tabernacle, these 20 boards, we get to witness the law. And even in judgment, we get to witness the law. So we get to witness the law 2 ways. As we see, there's 2 ways to witness the law. And then there's 2 other sides as well. 21, there are 40 sockets of silver, 2 sockets under one board, 2 sockets under another board. And these were 40 sockets. That's the work of God in the law. And in these sockets that of strength, these things that join together, these sockets that are all under the one that's split out, and the 2 sockets under another that was split out. And witness that, those things of strength, once again. It gives it's like a foundation, is in a sense, to stand it on. That's the law. 22. And for the hinder part of the tabernacle westward, you shall make 6 boards. For the hinder part, and that's the back part, a little reminder maybe to this portion of the tabernacle, it's westward. That's that way towards the darkness, we'll see. You shall make these 6 boards. That's the work of man there, split out. So there's a portion there too, God says. We'll find out it's cut off. It's not opened. 23, the 2 boards shall make The 2 boards shall you make for the corners of the tabernacle and the hinder part. The 2, witness these to split out. Now you shall make for the corners. That's the places where they turn of the tabernacle, and the hinder in the rear part. That's where the 6 boards are. So we got 8 back total. 8 in the rear total. 2 for the corners. Witness, there are the places where they turn. And we see the work of man. Sit 24, and they shall be double beneath. And in like manner they shall be complete unto the top thereof, unto the first ring. Thus shall it be for them both. They shall be for the 2 corners. And they shall be double beneath, and in like manner they shall be complete unto the top thereof, unto the first ring. And that's doubled because it's twice. We'll see, it's folded back. And they will be just alike, complete to the top. And that's from the bottom to the top, to this first ring. This first ring now, this in the beginning, first is always a beginning. This ring is something that goes around. As we'll find, they got boards that slide through these, as we'll know them as purlings or supports that will run one to another. This shall it be for them both. They both have this. They shall be for the 2 corners, and that's 2 for supports, like I said. We're getting to witness those places where they turn. 25. Thus shall be 8 boards, and their sockets of silver, 16 sockets, 2 sockets under one board, 2 sockets under another board, and there shall be 8 boards. And that was the beginning, even a new beginning. It was being split out. They're sockets of silver, these things that add the strength of silver, those things that have passed through the fire, been through the judgment before. 16 sockets in total. That's the law in the work of men. 10 and 6. There's 2 sockets. We get to witness these edens, these strengths, or these columns under one board. In the beginning was split out. There was the witness of these strengths. Even it's the law, my friend. It always is. 26. And you shall make bars of acacia wood, 5 for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle. You shall make these bars. A bar is beriach, a bolt in a sense, and we'll find out. As in like to bolt, and it's, what it does is helps to become horizontal bracing, that can be removed quickly. Even these bars of acacia wood, and that's what they're made out of. Like I said, acacia wood's probably a tree that had thorns. I like to use the word the tree locust, even that black locust here in the Americas. 5, grace is split out for the boards of the one side of the tabernacle. Even in the beginning it was made plain, grace. 27, and grace, 5 bars for the 27, and 5 bars for the boards of the other side of the tabernacle, and 5 bars for the boards of the side of the tabernacle for the hinder part westward, and 5 bars for the boards. So 5, once again, there was grace in these horizontal supports. These bars are as what they're being used for. Was split out for each side. So we're going to have 5 supports that go around each side. It includes the rear portion of the tabernacle on the back, westward, that part that's westward. Once again, that's where the sun's going down. We're going to that place that's toward the darkness, 28, or that place where the sun goes down on. We might even say that's the sign towards judgment, or looking at it where the sun went down. The understanding's left, and it leaves you looking toward the east, waiting. 28, in the middle bar in the midst of the boards, which shall pass through from end to end. And the middle bar, that which is in the center, will see there was 5 in total. And this one that's in the middle of the boards, that which is split out, shall pass through from one end to the other. It will be continuous. 29, and you shall overlay the boards with gold, and make their rings of gold for holders for the bars, and you shall overlay the bars with gold. You shall overlay the boards with gold. Cover them in. Overlay, that's what it means, to cover them and wrap them with gold. These boards, those things that were split out, and because they belonged to the Lord in the first place. They were used for his example. And make their rings of gold. These rings, these things that go around. They're of gold, they belong to the Lord as well. That means they're precious, they're pure. Holders for the bars, you shall overlay the bars with gold. These rings of gold that hold the bars, these bars are used for the horizontal supports around the tent. They give it a little more strength, holding it together, lining everything up. You shall overlay these bars with gold as well, because they belong to the Lord. He gave them in the beginning these grace. There's 5 bars on each side. 30, and you shall rear up the tabernacle according to fashion thereof, which hath been shown you in the mount. You shall rear it up. Now you're going to stand it up, just like you've seen, after the fashion which has been shown you. So Moses knew what the tent looked like already. Of course, with a verbal explanation, it's kind of hard to make everything come out. With this written explanation, so Moses had a visual as well, which helps somewhat. Not only know, but to see how it was made. The Lord has a purpose for everything. 31, and you shall make a veil of blue, and purple, and scarlet, fine twine, linen, with cheddar beam, the work of skillful workmen shall it be made. So now we're going to make this veil of blue. A veil is something that kind of hides. The word is parakat. It's a separator, you might say, like a screen. It separates, but there's a little bit of being able to see through it just enough. This is a blue. That's because there's some understanding, and it's mixed or it's dyed with this scarlet. And that scarlet's going to be a little bit of the showing, you might see, a color. I like to use it as that which, how you got grace in the first place. The Lord give you that blood, so to speak, in a sense, as grace. Made you flesh, in a sense, out of grace. Fine twine linen, woven finely, and that means to have the threads close together. And that's what it's made of. With cheddar beam, I've explained, are like angels, deputies that were dispatched. They're going to have a similitude of holiness. The work of skillful workmen shall be made. As we'll see, the Lord gives special abilities for this work. 32. And you shall hang it upon 4 pillars of acacia overlaid with gold, their hooks being of gold, upon 4 sockets of silver. And this is going to be used to separate the holy from the most holy. The whole thing's holy. So this is the most holy. This is where the Lord, this is his portion. You shall hang it upon these 4 pillars. 4 is always the work of God. He separates with these pillars. These pillars are those things that are made correct. He from the beginning of acacia, overlaid with gold. So these pillars are going to be overlaid with gold. That belongs to God in the beginning. These acacia, they're hooks being of gold, and that's what's going to hold the curtain up. These hooks, it's Bob. Bob is like the sixth letter of the alphabet, I believe. The Bob is the, we can use it like this. We can put the work of man in here almost, that these hooks that are made of gold, because God's got control of everything. Upon these four sockets of silver, that's this work, we'll find that adds the strength to the silver. That's that which has been through the fire. Again, 33. And you shall hang up the veil under the clasps, and shall bring in there within the veil the ark of the testimony, and the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. You shall hang up the veil. That's separator, that curtain. It's a veil. It's to protect and guard, not too utterly hide. And you hang it under these clasps. These clasps were these tacks. It's something that sticks out. It's a knob. We find out it's similar to a button, or that which joins together is what it's used for. And you shall bring in there, inside that area where the veil is, the ark of the testimony. We'll find out that's the ark we spoke of yesterday's lesson, that was made to contain. It's a vessel that contains this witness, this testimony. That's what it is. It's a witness. This testimony is. It's the law. It's the commandments wrote down on a stone as a witness. And we'll find out, my friends, it's going to be held against you in the end. The veil, that which hides, that which separates, shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy place. It's like something that's going to separate. It's the law, my friends. God already wrote it down on your heart. He put it inside you from the beginning. And that's kind of what that ark is. That's that place God made for himself. That's your heart. He give you that understanding from the beginning. His law that he wrote down on you. 34, you shall put the ark cover upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And you shall put the ark cover, that which seals the agreement, upon that ark, that which contains the witness of in that most holy place. In other words, you seal it up. Put the deal in your heart. 35, you shall set the table without the veil, and the candlestick over against the table on the other side of the tabernacle toward the south. And you shall put the table on the north side. The table goes on the north side. That's that way of judgment I use it as. Of course, it's the work of the Lord. It's where the bread sits. We'll find out to give it a little nourishment to the flesh. We don't want it falling outside that area. Safe within the confines of it, the tent. The table is that which is flat. It's equal. It has four corners. That's where they turn. Every place they turn, they'll turn unto the Lord. And we'll set the bread. That's the law of the flesh, which nourishes everybody there. And over against, and the candlestick, the lampstand, we talked about in yesterday's chapter. It shall go over against on the opposite side of the tabernacle. It's toward the south. And that's to give some light, a little understanding. There's some light coming off that judgment. And then there's, it's a witness of the Lord. This table goes on the north side. 36, and you shall make a screen for the door of the tent of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, the work of the weaver in colors. And you shall make a screen for the door of the tent. And that's where you come in. That was the front of the tent, of the whole tent. since this is like 2 tents, 1 tent within another, and a scarlet and fine twined linen shall be the work in weaver's colors. And the weaver's colors woven in these colors, that which gives appearance the blue. That's some understanding coming from that, which was dyed or mingled with the scarlet. In other words, we're going to have a little blending here of what man's doing, what God's doing. It's going to kind of give off this a royal color, dyed, mingling in this fine twined linen, or finely woven, because the threads are close together, this work that's woven. 37, and you shall make for a screen 5 pillars of acacia, and overlay them with gold. Their hooks shall be of gold, and you shall cast 5 sockets of brass for them. And this is those columns, those pillars that go across the front, where you go in to the tent of the meeting. These are for a screen, to kind of guard, you might say. That's what a screen does, is guard. It's used, not that you can't see through, but you can see in. It's still guarded with these 5 pillars. That's because there's grace. There's grace in these pillars. That's those things that are correct. Of this acacia. That, once again, it's a form of wood that come from a tree that was exalted. It had some thorns on it. It was hewn down and split out. That's how we got the pillars, and they're overlaid with gold. That's that which belongs to God. It's of a beaten work. It's the law, my friends. Their hooks shall be of gold. And we'll find out that hook is kind of like the work of man. In a sense, it's all of gold. God controls everything. You shall cast 5 sockets of brass for them. And these 5 sockets of brass, grace gives it a little strength. That's what these sockets do. And they're of brass. Because brass is the last portion we received, and when we was being refined. So we got grace in the beginning. We got grace in the end. And this is where we move forward to Exodus chapter 27. Turn and return.